Hi, my name is Jon Svitak with the Shannon Law Group, and our firm helps people recover financially and emotionally after experiencing side effects or injuries due to vaccinations. And we do this by filing for compensation through the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. So you get your annual flu shot, and after a couple of weeks, you start to notice some numbness or tingling in your extremities. You think nothing of it at first, but over the next couple of days, the numbness and tingling, it gets worse, and you start to lose feeling in your feet. Now, over the next couple of days or a couple of weeks, this progresses upwards, and you're having difficulty walking and getting up from a seated position. Then finally one day, you wake up and you can't use your legs at all, you can't walk. So you call for an ambulance, they take you to the hospital, and after a couple of tests, the doctors tell you that you have Guillain-Barre Syndrome. Specifically, it targets the nerves that control coordination and movement within your body. So that's why you would start to have trouble walking and using your extremities. So if you received a flu shot within 3 to 42 days prior to your diagnosis of GBS or the onset of your symptoms, then the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program will presume that the flu shot was the cause of your GBS. It's well known now in the medical community that the flu shot can trigger GBS. If you're diagnosed with GBS, there are two very common treatment options. One would be a plasma exchange therapy, and the other would be an IVIG therapy. And typically, either of these treatments are very effective to reverse the symptoms of GBS. And most people experience a full recovery. Within 6 months to a year after the onset of their symptoms, they will be back to normal. A smaller percentage of people do experience some residual symptoms, where they're after therapy, physical, occupational therapy, their progress kind of plateaus at a certain point. But for the most part, the treatments for Guillain-Barre syndrome are very effective. In 2017, Guillain-Barre syndrome was added to the vaccine injury table as a condition that's associated with the flu shot. And so now, if you have experienced Guillain-Barre syndrome following a flu shot, you can file a petition in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. If you're filing a petition alleging a Guillain-Barre syndrome injury due to a flu shot, some of the criteria that the court looks for when they're considering whether you're entitled to compensation includes the onset of your symptoms. So if you receive the flu shot and you experience the onset of your symptoms between 3 and 42 days following the flu shot, then there will be a presumption that the flu shot was the trigger for your Guillain-Barre syndrome. And when we talk about onset, we're referring to the first time you experience the numbness or tingling in your extremities or that fatigue. It's usually the start of your Guillain-Barre syndrome. You might be wondering, do I need a lawyer for this? And if so, what do I have to pay him? Well, you don't need a lawyer necessarily to pursue a case in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, but it's not going to cost you anything if you do decide to hire one. The way that the lawyers or attorneys get paid in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program is by petitioning the government for their fees and their costs. So at no point during the pendency of your case will you be responsible for your attorney's fees or expenses, whether you're successful or unsuccessful. And at no point will your own compensation have any bearing on what the attorney receives. In other words, there's no contingency fees in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program either. The compensation available to those individuals who experience a Guillain-Barre syndrome injury following a flu shot include any out-of-pocket medical expenses, any lost wages or earnings or income due to your Guillain-Barre syndrome, and finally, pain and suffering damages, which is limited to $250,000. If you or a loved one has experienced an injury or an adverse reaction to a vaccine, please call us for a free consultation. We'd be happy to discuss your options with you. You can call us at 312-578-9501.